Today, SaunaSpace is live with Rachel Bodkin of Drain Your Lymph. So I'm going to take a second to get Rachel on, and then we're going to talk about some really cool stuff. We'll talk about her background, lymph a little bit. We're also going to talk about grounding and electromagnetic shielding, and a little bit about light and heat therapy, of course, as well. So hang on a sec. I'm going to invited. So just give her a sec to join. Oh,
Hi.
she is. Wow. Super quick.
Sorry.
Hi, Rachel.
How's it going?
Great. How are you? Happy New Year.
Good. Happy New Year. Oops. Sorry, I got three dogs.
We've got an unexpected guest today.
Yeah. They're all joining in. All right. Okay. All right. Everybody's settled except for the little one. Okay. Okay. This is my little puppy.
What's his name?
This one's Leo. He's the most talkative one right now.
Yeah. He's super cute.
Thank you. My little Shih Tzus. Yeah, so I'm super excited to chat about, all the products and SaunaSpace and why I've been loving everything that I've gotten from you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so awesome that you're a product user. So I got a little bit on your background, but let's start out by giving tell us a little bit about yourself. I know your Instagram channel is Drain Your Lymph, and you've had kind of a unique healing journey.
Yeah, so it's been fun. I unfortunately was recognized that I had an autoimmune disease at 14 years old, of the autoimmune disease of the liver called primary sclerosing cholangitis. They noticed it at 14. They spent the next 9 years diagnosing it. So by the age of 23, they actually gave me a diagnosis. And a notice of no cure, no treatment, no anything like that. So over the course of those 9 years, I had taken my health into my own hands anyway, since it wasn't being figured out and I really had no help from Western medicine anyway. So I, started discovering how much nutrition will help me. I became a holistic health coach, personal trainer, becoming active and really getting into the wellness space. So now for the last since I was about 19. So for the last 12 years, I've been really involved in, wellness and trying to work and heal myself holistically. So that's really where my background came in. That I formulated BH Botanicals, my product line.
Yeah, I got to try some of that out.
Yeah, I'm
balm.
super happy.
Yeah, the balm is really cool.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's one of my favorite products. It's so good for everything. But it is, that was created because I think I really started it about 2017, and there really was not that many options out there for good, clean products. You could find stuff at Whole Foods, but everything was in plastic. Everything had fragrance, or everything had something in there that I was like, this just, is not good enough. And for somebody with a liver condition, that's hard, to break things down and detox. Like, I'm not trying to put any excess stress on my body. So I created that product line, and unfortunately over the last year that I have been working on healing myself ever since I had a severe flare-up about a year and a half ago. The business took a little bit of a backseat, but still going, keeping everything going a little bit slowly as I work to keep everything balanced, healing, and running the business a little bit too. So
wow, you've accomplished a lot so far. Yeah, somebody is saying that BH Botanical is my favorite.
Oh, so Amanda,
you're out there. Cool. So how did you come across SaunaSpace?
So I actually found you guys through somebody who had your products, and they were talking about them, and I was like, what's the difference? Like, what's the rave about this? I had seen it like minimally, shared, and this was in 2023, Black Friday. And I was like, what's like, tell me about it. Why should I buy it? Because I love to buy things for my health. After 12 years, like, I try to discover new things and use all the new modalities and stuff. So I'm like, what? Tell me about it. And she was talking about how you have Faraday cages around it. Everything is like low to like zero EMF, and the difference in the incandescent lighting. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. So I had already purchased another LED red light at the time.
Mm.
A few days before that, and I was like, well, whatever, let me get this one and I'll see which one I like. And as soon as I put the glow light together, I was like, oh my God, I love this. I'm returning the LED. I'm like
Oh,
completely
wow.
switched over. And yeah, became obsessed immediately. So yeah, it was like an immediate change.
Cool, amazing. And I see you have the sauna too.
I do. I have my little sauna set up here. I'm in my gym right now, so I have my sauna. I have a glow light out here. And I'm going to get one of the silver protectors for that as well.
Amazing. So what about the sauna? What do you think of your experience with the SaunaSpace sauna?
I love it. I mean, so that's one major thing that I really wanted to talk about because this is something that I noticed now that I got it, I think like early November. I had jumped on it like right away as soon as the sale started. So I got it in like early November. Now that I've been using it for about close to 2 months, I noticed it's probably the only sauna I've ever used that I don't feel dehydrated when I come out of it.
Hmm.
And
Interesting.
I realized that probably because of the fact that it really restructures the water in your body, making that exclusion zone water.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, normally you come out and you feel like, oh my God, I need water. Like I need minerals. Like help me, I'm starving, I'm thirsty. And when I come out of here, like, yes, you need to remineralize, but nothing like coming out of any other sauna that I've ever been in, like whether it be a dry sauna, infrared sauna, sauna with other red light panels, like this just is extremely different.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, definitely. We know that all wavelengths of sunlight structure the water in the body,
Yeah.
but in the sauna space, most of the light that you absorb is near infrared, which are the wavelengths that go in the deepest. So
Mhm.
we're getting that exclusion zone effect on the water very deep inside the body in like the lymph. And I'd love to
Yeah.
talk. I know you've come with a lot of questions, and I'd love to address all of those. And one of the topics I'd like to add to it, if we have time, we have about an hour, is to talk about lymph,
Yeah.
because it seems to be. I mean, that's your Instagram handle, Drain
Yeah.
Your Lymph, and
I love the lymph.
uh, and, and I just feel like it's an overlooked aspect of human biology, even
Yeah.
though blood is lymph, and it's like part of the largest organ of the body,
Right.
the fascial system. So I definitely want to get to that. But yeah, that's really cool. A lot of people report that you kind of, when you get out of a SaunaSpace sauna, you don't feel
Yeah.
drained and exhausted, kind of wiped,
Yeah.
and you're not like just you definitely want to drink water. The body uses
Right.
water in the liquid state, not in the structured state, to eliminate toxins, kind of
Exactly.
like to bring them out. So we're always wanting to rehydrate before and after the best quality water. But yeah, there are times where I've used the sauna, not drunk any water, many times actually, not drunk any water before or after, and been totally fine for a while. So that's
Yeah.
super
I
cool to
have
hear that.
same. Yeah.
Especially since you said that you've tried like a far infrared sauna with red LEDs in it, where
Mhm.
it's trying to kind of mimic what we're doing. Uh, and still there's like this notable like qualitative difference in the experience and the feeling with sauna
Yeah.
space.
It
So
really
so
is.
cool.
I had the ones with you have your head out and and your hands out, and I literally like had it set up so that I had like a table next to me so that I can have like I make a little cocktail of distilled water with sea salt, chlorophyll, and lemon and chia seeds is like my super hydration like booster
Mm.
like remineralizing mix. And I would keep that right there while I was in there because I felt so dehydrated while I was in there. Like there's no way of me coming out and not having something like immediately. So to be able to do this and be like, oh my gosh, I haven't drank water like in a half hour or right away. I'm not like crawling to the kitchen like help me, I'm so dehydrated. It's astounding. Not something I expected to feel from the sauna. So that I think was like pretty amazing. On top of the fact that it feels it better just overall, and this may be attributed to some of the grounding that you're steering electricity away from. the unit, and the fact that I believe, and maybe you would agree with me, the fact of like the frequency of the fabric as well, and the frequency of it being handmade and good quality, that obviously plays um, a role in the feeling of the product overall. And it feels so homey in there. Like I see people have also reposted, it's like their little like apartment or like your little home. It really feels like a little safe space. It's so cozy, and it just feels so natural. It's like the is
Mm.
it I guess the canvas is cotton.
Yeah, it's Scott's cotton, so
Mm-hmm.
it's certified organic cotton,
Amazing.
and it's uh it's made in India, the
Okay.
fabric itself, so it's all got certified. But then when it comes to our workshop, our factory, all of our cut and sew and all of the stitching is all done by hand, and then afterwards there's a pretty elaborate QC process to clip threads and inspect every single little piece of each cover and each component.
Wow.
And that's all. I was just there the other day actually shooting some B-roll for the factory. It's we're all based here in Columbia, Missouri, so it's
Okay.
all handmade in the US. And and there's just a lot of love through the hands that's put into the product,
You can
even
feel
afterwards
it.
in the checking, where
Yeah.
you're just very carefully inspecting everything, and the wood as well. It's all we have a robotic cutting machine to like do the initial like prepare the piece from the solid wood, and then there's so much hand working that goes on. All the sanding is all done by hand and inspected by hand. Like all of that does add a frequency to it if
Absolutely.
if the person's in the right state of mind, right? And
Yeah.
I feel like our company, our mission is to empower people to be well, and our core values are really dear to us. We actually laser engrave them secretly on the inside of the light panels,
Oh,
just kind of like hidden
really?
inside.
That's
Yeah, and
so
everybody,
cool.
we and especially even like this year more than any year, we've taken an initiative to bring that mission back to our company and the employees themselves. So we now have yoga like 4 times a week,
Oh, that's
um, and
awesome.
we're doing once a month breath work. For We're expanding that to the whole company soon, and just other things too to ensure that like we want everybody to not just do quality work and have it be handmade, but we want everybody to be in the right state of mind
Yeah.
and be as elevated as possible because we're frequency beings. We're like super divine light beings, and we know that electromagnetism affects us, and that's a form of
Yeah.
energy. Everything comes down to that. So when it's made beautifully with hand with a lot of intention and a lot of love, you of course feel it.
Yeah.
When you use it, you feel it.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I think like when you get it, you get it. It's a really big difference between buying an LED panel that was just mass produced in a factory, could have been bought from some big company, and I decided to make a company, this person makes a company, and we're all selling, these electric panels and artificial light in and of itself, and then something that's being handmade, and you can tell that it really just has a completely different feeling and frequency about it, and you can tell when somebody truly cares, and is
Mm.
making it for a particular purpose. And from what I've ever or never seen is that there's not any incandescent like red lights that I've ever seen for anything like this. That I mean, you may or not know, but I mean, I've never seen anything like this. So this is like it's exciting to see something that's different, and it's not just because you could have easily done the same thing and like, oh, I like red light has benefits, right? Like I'm gonna just sell LED panels, but to make something that's truly different, that's truly unique and handmade, and you can just really notice a difference.
Yeah, we're definitely doing something different. Definitely the industry has totally transitioned, just the regular lighting
Yeah,
industry and also in the therapeutic light device industry. It's all switched to LEDs and lasers.
yeah,
And nothing particularly wrong about them. They have their place, and a lot of people get a lot of benefit from them.
yeah,
However, the incandescent electric light bulb is the original form of light therapy that has the most safe use testing, really. It's been around since 1891 or something. The electric light bulb was invented in 1887. So our product is a modernization of an original concept by Dr. Kellogg called the electric light bath, and
Okay.
he wrote a book about it called Light Therapeutics, and he used it after he tested it on 50,000 chronically ill patients. Like, he had this
Uh,
massive
yeah.
this tome that he wrote, and he was healing everything from every type of chronic illness you can think of to even traumatic injuries like snake bites and other things with
Wow.
this. And he didn't know about mitochondria. He just knew there was something special about the light. It heats up the body faster
Hmm.
than a regular sauna with the air. And then there's something special about the light. And so let's talk about, I know that was one of your questions. Like, let's talk about the light a little bit. Like, what is this light? What is incandescent light? Why do we prefer it?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, and
I would love to because I would love to because I've been getting more into that fact of getting my eyes in the sun every morning,
Mhm.
as much as I can, as close as I can to the sunrise, and again for the sunset, and even a little bit of middle throughout the day, so that I can really like set my circadian rhythm. And I've been using the glow light. I mean, especially now, when the sun goes down at 5, 6 o'clock, I just keep the glow light on as my light throughout the house, basically. So I would love to talk about the difference between those lights.
Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, why is it so cozy? You know, why is it so enjoyable to have the light of the glow, after
Yeah,
dark? Real quick though, Sandy, the nurse injector, asks, well, how much? How do I order? So if you're wanting a SaunaSpace sauna, you just go to sauna.space. All of our products are on there, all of our pricing. We have a pretty wide catalog of things. So again, the website's sauna.space. If you're interested in the some of Rachel's products, it's what's your website?
bhbotanicals.com.
bhbotanicals.com. And so she has some really cool stuff too. So yeah, go there first, and the website really unpacks a lot in
There's so
terms of
much
everything. Then there's
information.
another question too. Is the bulb alone beneficial? I can't afford the whole thing. So with our products, definitely the heart of it is the bulb itself. It's called the FireLight bulb. I spent many years developing it. It was like a 4-year development, and
Wow.
it's basically an improvement upon the original heat lamp incandescent bulb that's been around for over 100 years.
Mm.
The thing is, it's very hot, like you can't touch it or you'll injure yourself
Yeah.
directly. And it also emits EMFs that we'll talk about. It emits electric field and magnetic field. So for safety and like convenient use, it really requires, especially for human use, instead of just like putting it, you can purchase them and put them in exhaust ventilation heat lamp fixtures that are like in the bathroom.
Mm.
Those are still available. Like, I have that in my bathroom.
Okay.
But for use on the human body therapeutically, you want this protection. So we've spent 10 years developing like our Faraday lamp guard that's stainless steel, and making it all natural with the wood componentry and a lot of EMF shielding and other EMF mitigation stuff that's in it that maybe we'll talk about a little bit more. And all of it's designed to be like safe, beautiful, natural, really elevated experience. And so the bulb that we sell is we are selling that more as a replacement bulb for our glow and our hearth and our sauna. Um,
That's a good question. I actually didn't know that.
yeah. Okay. And oh yeah, one more note. There is a site-wide promotion going on right now. Yeah. So we came out with our own towel system because the sauna has a
Yes.
unique design. It's like a trapezoidal shape, and then the
Yeah.
stool is very unique. And for many years, I was just, everybody's just been using whatever towels. We sell some organic cotton bath towels, which are great, but they're just not convenient because they're not sized
Right.
right, and it's a little annoying for the experience. So we developed this. I designed basically over time this towel system where there's a towel for the mat and a towel for the stool. We call them covers, and those are available on the website. They just launched. They took forever to actually design and develop. It was really
Oh
frustrating,
God.
but they finally came out in December. So yeah, we have a little promotion on a bundle right now that's going on. So anyway, let's jump into it. So like light, we're in this modern era. We live in a synthetic world, and there's a lot that is assumed and taken for granted because we've forgotten our,
Yeah.
our connection with nature, our connection with earth, our connection with the sun. And yet the industry understands this, and the consumer industry, for example, understands this. That's why when
Right.
you go to a casino, the lights are really
Yeah.
bright. And when you go to the mall, there's like a ton of lighting. The lumen, the lux level is really, really high. That's because blue light, the high energy visible light, like stresses you out. It gets you into fight or flight mode. It gets
Very stressful.
and then your upper brain function shuts down, and
Yeah.
you get more reactive and more
Yeah.
compliant. And if you've ever been to a hospital, if you've ever been to a public school, so uh, if you get a lot of blue light, like after dark, many people I'm sure have experienced this listening, you don't sleep well.
Yeah.
And it's actually a big problem for men. It lowers your testosterone dramatically, having any significant amount of blue light after dark. And also, like, think about it. When there's not a lot of sun in the winter, you're not as happy,
Yeah.
as you normally are. And in the medical world, they have actually a diagnosis for this. They call it seasonal affective disorder,
Yeah.
which is an ironic acronym, SADS.
Sad,
And
yeah.
so
Just
we're
like this
sad,
American diet, though. It's funny. They're
right?
both sad.
We're sad. We're sad.
Yeah.
So if you think about this, you realize, wow, these are really maybe cliche examples, but they're real because our all of our biology functions at the fundamental level on electricity and on frequency.
Mhm.
And there's like voltage gates in the body. The blood flows down electrostatically through the arteries. Not the heart is not a pump; it's an
Right.
electromagnet.
Yeah.
And there's a thought, and the blood, the heart actually also, through the design of the heart, actually vortexes the water and structures it
How
every time it goes through the
how
heart.
crazy
So
is that?
there's all these very interesting things
Yeah.
actually in the body that reflect what we see in nature. So our ancestors and humans and pretty much all life on Earth gets a lot of sunlight, other than maybe a few exceptions, some nocturnal animals.
Right.
And we used to get many hours of sunlight a day. So we feel good in the sun, we're happier in the sun. And when we realize, wow, we're light beings, not just metaphorically, but very much
Yeah.
physically. And then we understand, hey, actually, there's also this concept of light therapy. You can take red light and near infrared light and heal your damaged cells and reoptimize function of healthy cells in every cell of the body. So we have this relationship with light. So what is the light with which we have this relationship? What have we always had? What is the only light in nature? It's the sun. And so then what is the sun giving us exactly? What is the nature of the sun spectrum, and what do we absorb from the sun? So the sun is an incandescent light source. That means that when you heat up a material really hot, like an iron rod, it glows. It
Hmm.
literally glows. And so it's emitting light in this natural, predictable way that we can use physics to understand and predict. And the spectrum is related to the temperature of the heat source. So the sun's really hot. It's like 5,500 Kelvin, and that's, over 6,000 degrees or whatever. So it's just really hot, even though it's like really far away. When it reaches us, we absorb this light, and has so much amazing benefit for our body. So the sun's spectrum is a little bit of ultralight, a lot of visible light,
Hmm.
and a lot of near infrared
Yeah.
light. That near infrared, the infrared spectrum is an invisible spectrum that's just beyond red light. So as the wavelengths get longer, beyond our ability to see with our eyes, we get into infrared. The highest energy, that first portion of infrared, is called near infrared. And it's in there really that the magic happens. We definitely, there are some heating effects to mid and far infrared for sure. They're more shallow. But near infrared is this interesting area where there's so much going on. It Some of near infrared is absorbed by the mitochondrial light receptor protein and gives us light therapy. And I think a lot of people are familiar with that now, with more with red
Right.
light. But near infrared light does the same thing, also on the skin, but very much deeper into the body too. But also, near infrared light penetrates the deepest into the body because it's not well absorbed either by water or by hemoglobin and melanin. These are the three chromophores, the three like light absorbers in our body that are everywhere in the body that basically protect us, from the electromagnetism, so we don't get too much. But near infrared is the unique wavelength that's going in the deepest. It's because it's not blocked by those very much. So
Mhm.
it's the most of what we absorb. And in fact, if we look at the sun, if we don't think about spectrum and we say instead, well, what about photons per second? How much wattage am I absorbing from the sun of all these different wavelengths? Over 70% of the power from the sun that we absorb is near infrared. It's way more than ultraviolet, it's way more than red light. It's all about near infrared. So our experience with sunlight is primarily an experience with near infrared light. And that's the light which we've been divinely created and or have evolved to get every single day. We
Yes.
need that dose. And it's not even just the light therapy effects, it's the water structuring effects
Right.
deep into the body. Only near infrared light penetrates the skull. So we want this healing in our brain. Only near
Yeah.
infrared light can get in there. Red light doesn't penetrate the bone. And also, the body's number one antioxidant is melatonin. It's the thing that's doing, counteracting all in way more than any blueberry you'll ever eat or anything else that you could take as a supplement. The
Yeah.
largest like worker that's an antioxidant in the body's melatonin. It's cellular melatonin.
Hmm.
And although the sun's blue light promotes melatonin production in the pineal gland, that's released at the end of the day, that kind of regulates our sleep cycle, our circadian rhythm. Over 94% of the body's melatonin is cellular, and it's produced with near infrared light hitting the cell. So the sun is healing us, it's giving us energy, and it's refilling our antioxidant reserves, our reserves in our cells that like are constantly fixing things and cleaning up and doing all this good stuff. And when we don't get that type of sunlight, or we don't get sunlight, the average American gets like 7 minutes of sunlight a day. We
Sick.
we would basically shrivel
Oh
like
my
a
gosh.
flower that doesn't get enough light. And
Oh.
so all that to say that our experience with the light has always been incandescent. And that's why the incandescent bulb, even though it's man-made, is in my opinion the coolest thing yet.
I
Even though
agree.
there's LEDs and there's all this other stuff, because it's mimicking, it's not just giving us one spike of light. An LED gives you one wavelength and a really high power level. It's kind of like vitamin C powder.
Hmm.
The incandescent bulb is more like the orange. So you,
Yes.
so you can take the vitamin C when you're sick and it'll work. It'll be very effective for you. But if you eat the oranges every day,
You're gonna.
you're less likely to get sick in the first place.
Yes, I love it. That's a really great
I think
analogy. That's exactly
that's
how I feel about it.
and there's something that we don't quite understand yet, even today, about the this natural proportion of power levels of all these different wavelengths in a certain way that we get them from the sun that has this it's what we crave the most. It's what is the most fulfilling to us in terms of light. And so that's why we do incandescent, and we're unique in that regard. Most of the other saunas you'll see out there are finished saunas. They have hot rocks with a big electric heater,
Right.
or they're like a far infrared sauna that has these black panels in it that emit very low energy, very long wavelength infrared. It's called far infrared.
Mhm.
And then even some of those, they'll be like, oh well, we need to recreate the natural spectrum more, so let's add in some red LED panels, and maybe they put them on the outside or the inside. But it's all with us. It's one light source. It's an incandescent, specially designed bulb that, again, is really trying to mimic that healing component of the sun, which is red and mostly near infrared.
You really feel the difference. You can
Yes.
really tell the difference between the two, and that's why when I was talking to my friend about it before I initially purchased it, I'm like, how if you can get something that's as close to natural as possible, why wouldn't you choose that over something that's maybe still works, can be beneficial, but not as natural? If I have the option between the two, I'm gonna choose as close as I can get to it because again, like we don't get the opportunity, unfortunately, to spend half of the day outside or all day outside a lot of the time.
Hmm.
But if I can get something at home that's going to help me mitigate, or maybe when it's too cold, and maybe when the sun goes down and it's the winter time and we're not getting nearly enough. And I mean, luckily I live where it's sunny all year round, but it's not the case for a lot of people. A lot of people experience snow maybe half of the year and can't really get their feet on the ground and their eyes in the sun. So it's a really amazing way to feel like you are getting almost the exact same thing without having to I guess maybe put too much stress on your body because a lot of people aren't gonna take their shoes off and put their feet on the snow, and get their eyes in
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
in the sunlight.
or if you're going in the sun, how to be predominantly naked or mostly
Right.
have a lot of exposure, not just your
Yeah.
face, when you're outside. So it's maybe not as practical or whatever nowadays, or you're in a cold environment. I grew up in Montana, and
Oh gosh.
I was not going outside with my shoes off for sure
Yeah.
in the winter, even
Yeah.
though it was very sunny there, very beautiful there. But yeah, it's a challenge nowadays. So this is this is how we thrive in our modern environment is to be very vigilant about what's touching our body and going into our body, and that includes light. But
Yeah.
like what you said before about just natural products like soaps and stuff, it really requires a lot of vigilance
Yeah.
nowadays to get something really
Right.
clean. And one of our big challenges nowadays is there is so much toxin exposure that wherever we can reduce, our exposure, it really behooves us to do that. And that's the same thing with like EMFs. I don't know if you want to talk about maybe EMFs and
Yes.
grounding next.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to get into that. Somebody actually had a question about your EMF shielding, so I would love to get into that.
Yeah. Let me pull that up. I'm a little behind. Cool. Okay, there's a comment up there. We'll go back to that comment from Ocean Amethyst. Hang on a sec. So one concern about the EMF, and if shielded, what's the exact technique used for the shield? So with EMF shielding, it's called electromagnetic interference mitigation in like the digital electronic industry, and you basically are using the physics principles that were developed by Michael Faraday. After him, the Faraday cage is developed, and other physicists too. And you're using metal to to collect and trap and block electric fields, and in some cases magnetic fields, and then you're taking them away by grounding that metal.
Right.
And so your traditional Faraday cages in laboratories are like these huge rooms with huge thick metal on the sides, and that's sort of the original concept. It's called a Gaussian sphere for those who are studying physics. But you basically use metal and a grounding approach to trap and block and shield these EMF fields and make them go away.
Mm.
But in the modern era, we have a lot of cool innovation and develop sort of advancement of material technology. So what we figured out is that you can take little micro-sized uh, cables of little micro, like 10 micron wide wires of silver,
Over yet.
and you can actually space them apart like a fishnet. So you don't have to have a solid wall of metal. You
Okay.
just have these little tiny fibers of silver that are really close together, but you don't need to use nearly as much metal. And with us, that's the design of the silver lining. So our silver lining is a 35% silver, 65% organic cotton that's washed and pre-shrunk. So it's a very durable product. It's really cool, but it has a lot of silver in it. Like if you get like a grounding sheet for your bed, it
Hmm.
maybe has 5% silver,
Oh wow.
maybe 10% silver. So our silver shield it comes, it is an investment, and the cost of silver keeps going up actually
Oh
because
wow.
it's being used more like in
Right.
industry more than is I guess being mined. But it also but it provides a way to like make the silver lining lightweight, and it's organic, and it blocks cell phone signal, which is the hardest thing to block for electric
Oh really?
fields,
Huh.
because cell phone signals nowadays is very high frequency. We have 5G cell phone technology. That's basically increased wattage of 4G um, frequencies of like 800 megahertz to 2 gigahertz, and then there's an addition of even higher frequency bands. And these higher frequency bands, when you have higher frequency electric fields, they're smaller. Basically,
Right.
higher frequency means they're like
Move quick.
The wavelengths are shorter,
Yeah.
so they can kind of get into little areas better. So
Yes.
they're more tricky to block. So what we developed, we had to add a lot of silver to it and do a lot of testing to kind of achieve this balance of cost and effectiveness that we eventually came out with. And this is our third version. Our first versions were using other people's fabrics. We eventually developed our own fabric that we
Wow.
use today, the silver lining fabric. But that's basically the how you block electric fields. And depending on how you're doing it, and it depends on the context of what you're doing it, like what you're actually going to do. If you're in your bedroom, you can actually buy carbon-based shielding paint, and you can paint the walls and use grounding tape at the bottom and ground out this conductive carbon-based
Hmm.
paint, and you can make a grounded Faraday cage of your whole bedroom. I have a good friend, Brian Hoyer of Shielded Healing, who has a company, Shielding Shop, and he does EMF mitigation consultation at home. So check out Shielded Healing if
Yeah.
you're ever interested in that. But then, yeah, for those of us who are like more nomadic, you can get Faraday canopies for your bed as
Yeah.
long as they're grounded and they are combined with a grounding mat. So you have like all six sides, and the design is right. That can be an effective way to sleep protected from EMF. For us, for SaunaSpace, we're focused on the sauna and the light panels themselves. So our sauna has two components to it. One is a silver lining, that's an optional upgrade to block out the wireless EMF. And then the base of the sauna is a grounding mat that has the same material in it that's underneath the bamboo that's wired to the ground conductor of the light panel. And so as long as you're plugging in an outlet that you test with the little tester that comes with it and make sure it's wired right, it creates this grounding mat in the sauna that provides a grounding experience, and it also traps and blocks not all but most of the wired EMF from the home, from the electricity.
Amazing.
So those are kind of like the two ways to do it. And then I guess last but not least, the panels themselves. So the the light bulb emits an electric field that goes like 4 feet out of the bulb.
Wow.
Another reason not to use a bulb that's like outside of our fixture, we really, it's one of the important design aspects of our fixture is the lamp guard itself is stainless steel and it's a mesh. So if the bulb ever breaks, all the glass stays inside and it's very safe and you can't touch it. And it also is grounded, so it traps any electric field coming out of the filament itself, because the electricity runs through the panel and all the way through the bulb, through the filament to glow and create the light. And so we use a combination of grounding and shielding materials inside the light panel to trap all of the electric and magnetic field stuff that's going on. And then the power cord is also a shielded power cord. So SaunaSpace is not bringing any EMFs to the party, and yeah, if you want to go with our optional silver lining, it really creates this unique experience that is the way it used to be out in nature before we had cell phones, where you are in a completely parasympathetic space. There's no
Yeah.
Bluetooth track lighting. There's no man-made EMF on the body. The body can go into this like super powered
Relax.
healing state that it's
Yeah.
designed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's almost how I feel. I mean, so what, like, once I went in there and I felt just so like cozy and calm and relaxed, and that's why I figured some of it was coming from that grounding that you have the EMF leaving, and none of it coming back to the unit. I figured like that was helping a lot, but then now to one day I'll get this silver lining, and I'm like, I can't imagine this is gonna be. I'm probably just gonna grab a pillow and take a nap in here. But
Yeah, it's really wonderful.
yeah.
Everybody who tries it, really loves it. That's part of why we do our trial. We want to make sure you're happy with it, but it really is. It's awesome and it lasts forever, and it like sits between the two canvas layers. So if you ever have to wash the cover itself, the silver lining is actually also washable. It just has to be washed in a special way with like a pH balanced detergent, and it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's a little more sensitive because we don't want to oxidize the silver too
Right.
much. But yeah, so it's like once you get it, you never go back for sure.
Oh, 100%. I was like, I'm getting rid of every LED I have. I'm getting rid of the sauna that I have, and then that's actually a good question too, because it is washable, right? So what can you do? Just take it apart and throw it in your washing machine or do you
Yeah, yeah.
recommend?
So it's pre-shrunk cotton, so it shouldn't shrink as long as you follow the washing instructions. So you would wash one cover at a time because it's large, but it
Yeah.
should fit in a home washing machine. And I recommend Zoom, this brand Zoom, that's like laundry soap that's natural and safe.
Oh,
There are other
ZUM,
brands too.
right? ZUM.
ZUM, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they're great. They're a great brand, and if you want something that's completely essential oil free, I like the frankincense and myrrh, but you can go with just the sea salt, so there's no fragrance at all.
Yeah.
And you wash it on like a normal cycle, and then when you put it in the dryer, you just tumble dry or put it on a very low heat.
Okay.
And then and some people like to pull it out while it's just almost dry, and actually you take the other cover off your sauna, you put it on the sauna and turn the lights on, and it'll fully dry it out.
Huh.
And then it's natural organic cotton, so um it'll be a little bit. Hang on one second. Would you mind answering the door? It's it'll be a little wrinkly, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So if you have a steamer, you can pop it with some
Right.
steam, and it'll look exactly like the one you have behind you.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally washable. The key though is if you use the towels, especially with the pure layer, it really makes it easy. If you use towels collect the sweat, and um, you uh, you take the towels out after you're done, and the sauna really stays nice. Like I don't think I've ever washed my covers of the sauna I have at home, and I use it every day. But I take that stool towel out after I'm done. I leave the curtain open and leave the lights on.
Yeah.
And then the floor towel, if there's any sweat that got on it, I put it on the stool, and the lights dry it out, and I just leave it open, make sure it's all dry. So leave the lights on while I'm in the shower, and by the time I get back, it's all groovy.
I just got my Pure Layer bundle in yesterday. I'm so excited to use it and try it out.
Yeah, totally. Hey, I'm sorry. Hang on one second. There's some like big truck here. Really apologize.
Okay, sure, no problem. Well, if you guys have any questions for me, let me see if I can answer anything.
I'll be done in like 10 minutes. Can you wait like around 10 minutes? I guess. Thank you. Appreciate it, yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. So yeah, Rachel,
Okay.
yeah,
No.
it's so cool. Like I'm so glad that your experience has been so amazing. So there's a question from Ocean Amethyst. My family is loving our sauna space. I notice I'm red after a 2 to 20 minute session. No pain at all, but just curious what that means. So it's very common, actually. You get the skin is a big detoxer. It's one of the, aside from the gut, it's like the most powerful detoxer, right? But it only detoxes when we're sweating for the most part. It's like in super detox mode. So usually toxins, when you sweat and you're in the sauna, that's where they're designed to come out most effectively. And as toxins get sweated out, you'll see that in the skin. Some people get zits or get even like bromine causes these little tiny red dots. The chemical bromine, which is brominated chemicals, which are all over the place. Use it
Right.
on flour and everywhere, and also rashes and like redness. And sometimes it's just so at the same time, the light therapy actually reduces inflammation in the cell. It creates inflammatory mediators. So it's helping with inflammation. It's also increasing blood flow at the same time. But as those toxins come out, we get these like temporary symptoms. They're called healing reactions. So it's just a part of the healing journey is getting it out of the body. It shouldn't remain. If you have a healing reaction that persists, you want to back off the use of the sauna for like a week. But very common, and it should go away over time. That's a part of the toxins coming out of the body.
Yeah. I've definitely noticed that too. I definitely noticed that I detox much more in this as well than I have in, with any other sauna that I've used. So it's definitely a noticeable difference on the full spectrum.
Cool. I'm glad that makes sense. So it's an amethyst. That's awesome. Wonderful. So yeah, we let's do like one more question. Um, let's see. We talked about EMFs and light therapy. Um,
We could
oh,
talk
you
about
want to
light.
talk? You want to talk about
Yeah,
methylene blue? Is that?
were you gonna say that?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Cool.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
on the same
yeah.
wavelength. So
Yeah, that's so funny.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been using methylene blue for probably a little over a year now, but when you know I mean no, using it in combination with the SaunaSpace products is really like you just notice I it gives me such a boost of energy when I do it in the morning and I do my red light therapy about an hour after. I mean, I'm up all day and I'm like cleaning the house and taking care of everything that I need to do. It really has this like natural boost of energy, which I naturally feel from red light anyway, but it just makes such a difference. And then I ordered the um, eye drops because when I was looking at it, I have used them before. But when I was looking at it, reading it, I was like, of course, because of that blue pigmentation in there and you're putting it in your eye, you can immediately utilize it, which is so incredible that you can utilize it and go out into the sun. If you have 5 minutes in the morning, which everybody should have, put 2 drops in your eyes and you can go out there and receive these amazing benefits from all the wavelengths of the sun and get it immediately absorbed into your eyes and benefit from methylene blue like immediately, which I think is so amazing because methylene blue, like melatonin, acts as an antioxidant in our body and is able to just remove toxins from the body and is really like anti everything. So I think methylene blue is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So let's explain methylene blue to everybody. At Ocean Amethyst, the brand we're talking about is Mitozen, and SaunaSpace sells Dr. John Laurence is a good friend of mine. He's the creator of some of these wonderful products. So we sell Mitozen's Lumitol Blue, which is an oral methylene blue, and also their Blue Eyes, which is the drops that Rachel's talking about. So we sell those on our website. I think you can get them from him too if you join his PMA club.
Website, yeah.
But yeah, we just have it available on our website. The same the Blue Eyes product. A couple other products too we have from him like Roots End. But yeah, methylene blue. So methylene blue was originally invented as a dye in the latter part of the 19th century.
Yeah.
So it's really it's been around for a really long time. It's it's the compound for which the expression the magic bullet was coined, and it's because even though it was originally a dye, they realized at the end of the 19th century, wow, it actually works really well to treat malaria.
Yes, that's what it is.
And so there's this long use of it in treating parasitic infection
Mm-hmm.
and malaria and other things like that for a long, long, long time. And it makes you urinate blue, so it's really funny. And it
It
will,
is so weird if you
yeah,
forget.
and it will stain everything. So when you're
Mhm.
using the Lumitol blue, you want to cut it on a ceramic or a glass plate, and then like wash the plate and the knife off immediately.
Immediately, yeah.
But the dosage instructions are all on there. It depends, but like 20 to 35 milligrams. I think it's like a half a milligram per kilogram of body weight is the dosing, but that's all on the website. And basically, you don't need very much of this stuff at all. And what it does is it goes into the mitochondria and it upregulates 3 out of the 4 electron transport enzymes. These are the this is where our body makes all of its energy. And the fourth enzyme that it doesn't affect is the cytochrome C, the enzyme that absorbs near infrared and red light. So what was then later found is that wow, actually, methylene blue is photodynamic. If you if you take methylene blue and you combine it with near infrared light, if the mitochondria gets both of those things at the same time, you get full activation of all of your electron transport chain enzymes. So your energy production increases, and then you have all of these cascade effects that come out of that. Most people report improved cognitive function, like your brain works better.
Yes.
Having even more energy than just light therapy itself,
Mm-hmm.
and focus, and just presence. And then it's also used for people who are sick. When people are really sick, they use methylene blue has been shown to be really effective for people who are recovering from like just so many different things. So there's a lot of research into it. As far as using it, if you take it orally, you want to take it like half an hour at least before you get into the SaunaSpace sauna or you go out in the sun. It
Yeah.
takes a little time to get from the gut into the cells. But if you use the blue eyes, it's the absorption is much faster. So, like you said, you could just have a couple of blue dye drops and pretty much immediately expose yourself. So, when I use blue dyes, I use it right when I get in the sauna, like right before. Then I'm just immediately in there. And it's a really cool formulation too. Blue eyes. It's not just methylene blue. There's also silver. There's also EDTA, which is a really awesome chelator that has more and more relevance nowadays because of some of the pharmaceutical toxins that we're exposed to. So it's just a really cool product. And so methylene blue, you can get it anywhere. You just ideally want to use pharmaceutical grade so that you know
Yeah.
that your heavy metal
Yes.
levels low, because just industrial grade is going to have more heavy metal content in it. But it's this cool. It's this like super. It's this super activator, sort of enhancer that you can use to benefit even more from your SaunaSpace session.
Yes.
And
I
also,
completely agree.
when I travel, I always take it to protect
Mm.
myself from like because you get more exposure to things and people when you're traveling. So whenever I'm traveling, I'm taking it every day. You can usually take it like 5 to 6 days on, then 3 or 4 days off.
Okay.
You don't take it every day continuously, so you want to back off of it. But it's pretty widely used, pretty awesome, pretty safe. And this photodynamic aspect makes it really interesting that it literally enhances the benefit and the stimulation effects of near infrared light in the body.
You can notice it again almost immediately. Like I really notice my cognition is greatly improved. My energy is greatly improved when combining the two. It's really amazing. You really just have that clear, focused energy. And I'm not going to say I have ADD, but I feel like everybody struggles with that in the sense with all of this artificial world that we're living in. We kind of live in like an ADD state. So really having that, I really feel like I can focus and get things done and like really like just kind of go full speed ahead when I do the combination of the two. It's really incredible.
Amazing, amazing. So I would be remiss to not ask a quick question, and we need to be brief because we don't have a whole lot of time left. But lymph,
Yes.
uh, can you give us the short version of why does lymph matter and why you focused so much on lymph that's your like Instagram handle, Drain Your
So,
Lymph?
why it matters? I would argue to say it's probably like it's definitely how we get rid of cellular waste, but that's how we get rid of almost like all of our waste in our entire body because the liver is part of the lymphatic drainage system. The colon is part of the lymphatic drainage, which is where we really get rid of most of our waste. Every single day, multiple times per day, which is what everybody should be doing. Again, it's part of the skin release waste system. So anytime you're using the sauna, you're getting that lymphatic. Oh, hold on, let me pause this real quick. You're getting that lymphatic drainage as well. You're getting that lymphatic drainage as well. And the reason why it became such a big thing for me is because when I had a flare up about a year and a half ago, my lymphatic system actually swelled up. So unfortunately, I didn't listen to my own self, and I knew I had to start paying attention a little bit more to my liver. It looked like my body was needing some more attention, so I started a parasite cleanse. And I had just gotten back from travel, so my lymphatic system was backed up, which is something that happens to pretty much everyone when you're traveling, whether it's just in the car, which we all do every day, or a long drive, but I had been flying. So I came back, I started using the sauna that I had previously, and I started a parasite cleanse, and it didn't have anywhere to go. My lymphatic system was backed up, and my face blew up, and for the last year and a half, I've been trying to mitigate that. So I definitely play a huge, I definitely keep the lymphatic system as part of like a huge, component of my everyday like detoxing again. So using the sauna, using things like the vibration plate, the rebounder, just walking. I mean, it's so simple to move the lymphatic system. I mean, we have so many nodes just, up in our neck, our clavicle, under our arms. It's so simple. But it can be one of like the biggest, like game changers for people when you start paying attention to removing cellular waste through the body and just being able to drain. And at night when you sleep well, which I haven't been unfortunately for the last few weeks, but we have the lymphatic system in our brain as well. So our brain is draining every night when we're resting, which is so amazing. That of like just talking about like how we're like light beings, and just how nature and God put us to have all of these like drainage systems in place that we don't really even have to think about if we just operate as natural human beings and just move and sweat. We can do a lot of good things and drain our drain our lymphatic system, and keep our bodies healthy. So, and that's another important thing too when you are detoxing and taking things like methylene blue, is that you want to make sure that it has somewhere to go when you're using the sauna. You want to make sure that your lymphatic system isn't backed up as well, and you're really you're getting rid of it somewhere, which is good for the dry brushing. So dry brushing is another way to move the lymphatic system along too, and you can do that during your sauna, right before your sauna. So that's a very simple way, which because it's so close to the top of the skin, it really just a gentle dry brush can move everything along in the lymphatic system, which I think is just really incredible. And um, doing things like taking minerals and rehydrating the body, and because it's so close to the fascia, and it works off of electricity like everything does in our body. We can really get like remineralized just by taking like salt and water and drinking that, and helping move the lymphatic system along as well.
Wow, beautiful. Yeah, thank you for the explanation. I think it's important to remember that and keep that in context, that the blood goes through the heart, into the arteries, into the cells of the body, brings in nutrients and takes away waste. That's what we learned
Right.
in high school biology.
Yeah.
But actually, most of the waste that's taken out of the cell after it gets the nutrients goes into the lymphatic drainage system, drains up, goes to the lymph nodes, which act as filters. Then they collect the junk, and then the filtrate, the lymph goes back into the blood, and what collects is the gunk and the toxins in the lymph nodes. And the lymphatic system doesn't have any
Yep.
pump in it like the
Yep.
heart. It's moved through motion.
Mm-hmm.
So all these different ways to like move that mechanically.
Yeah.
Dry brushing, yes. Gua sha, you asked about gua sha. Absolutely. Gua sha on the face and the body. Massage.
So many
There's
ways. There's
lymphatic
so many
massage,
ways.
myofascial
Yeah.
massage, the rebrounder, just walking,
Yep.
just moving your
Yeah,
body.
it's really amazing. There really are so many ways, and it's sad when you see. I mean, I live in Florida, so unfortunately, sometimes I see when like snowbirds come down and you see their legs like they're very inflamed, and I'm like, wow, this is really sad. Like, there's so many ways to move, and it makes me sad for people to see how much like people are suffering with edema and swollen lymph and swollen legs, to where it's like it can be so simple to be fixed if you just focus on draining those lymph nodes and moving your body a little bit more, getting on the rebounder and paying attention to being hydrated, so that fascia can like move everything along the lymph, and it can really make a huge difference in people's health.
Yeah, so beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, so also, let's just wrap up. I'm going to mention you have a discount code
Yes.
that everybody can use. So it's Drain Your Lymph. It's the same as your Instagram candle. So
Keep it easy.
you can use that. That stacks up on top of the promotion we have on the Pure Layer right now. So everybody who's gotten this far in the show today, please, you're encouraged to use that discount code Drain Your Lymph from Rachel Bodkin. And Rachel, where can we find you? And also mention your product website again, so that if people want to learn more about you, check you out. You have a lot of great content on your Instagram.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so of course you can follow me on my Instagram, Drain Your Lymph. I have a link tree where I share a lot of like my affiliate products. So there, I'm gonna have a subscribe one day soon. I'm working on having an email list through there, so I can share content through there as well. And of course, BH Botanicals. It's B like boy. And I have an Instagram for that as well. So I try to keep everything very simple. bhbotanicals.com, and my Instagram for that is bhbotanicals. So if you want some more organic, non-toxic, handmade, made with love, in glass.
Yes, awesome.
So
Perfect.
yeah, then you guys are welcome to check that out.
Wow. So I'm so grateful you came on today. This is these are great topics that we don't usually cover, especially the lymph and a couple other things, and so essential and so important. So thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you. And and the work that you've done and the contribution you've made and the courage you've had and continue to have to
Thank you.
seek your own solutions and be, you know, be demand that they be natural and
Yeah,
clean and high
thank
frequency. So
you. It's great to chat with you. I'm so glad we
yeah.
had this.
And thank you, everybody. We're going to share this on both sides so everybody can check it out. And those of you on Rachel's side or looking for SaunaSpace, of course, we're at SaunaSpace on Instagram, and our website is sauna.space. So you can always reach out to us there and chat or call us by phone. But all the information about SaunaSpace products and everything is on our website.
Check them out. You won't regret it.
Thank you so much, Rachel.
All right, thank you.
Bye to you all.
Have a great day.